Extrinsic pathway of coagulation is a pathway that within a few seconds gives us the product that we're looking for. That product would be a very important enzyme named prothrombinase. And since we say extrinsic pathway, it simply means that the stimulus that starts this pathway comes from the outside of the blood vessel. So here we have a blood vessel that its wall in this spot is damaged, and as you can see, due to damage to the endothelium, also now some of the collagen fibers that we have in subendothelium are exposed. But I would like you to pay attention that the damage is not limited to the wall of the blood vessel. Some of the tissue cells that we have outside the blood vessel are also damaged, and from the surface of these damaged tissue cells that we have outside the blood vessel, we have the release of a very important chemical named tissue factor or thromboplastin. So tissue factor is the stimulus that starts the extrinsic pathway. It comes from outside of the blood vessel into the blood vessel. When tissue factor diffuses into the blood vessel, then inside the bloodstream it starts affecting one of our plasma proteins. Recall, most plasma proteins are built by liver cells. So the plasma protein that we're talking about is a clotting factor named 10. And what tissue factor does, at the presence of calcium ion, tissue factor activates 10. Recall, calcium ion, because it is involved in coagulation, is a clotting factor, and it is referred to as clotting factor 4. It is important when we learn about this pathway, we note the source of any chemical that we discuss. For example, we get tissue factor from damaged tissue cells outside the blood vessel. We have factor 10 as a plasma protein built already by liver cells. Now the question is, where do we get calcium ion from? From two main sources. First of all, we know platelets store many chemicals, including calcium ion, and when they become active, they release these chemicals. So that would be one source for calcium ion. And the other one would be that calcium ion is one of the electrolytes that we find in blood plasma. So now we can continue this story. Tissue factor, at the presence of clotting factor 4, calcium ion, activates clotting factor 10, and when 10 becomes active, at the presence of calcium ion, it binds to factor 5, which is another plasma protein. So here we have factor 10 in inactive form that binds to factor 5 and calcium ion, and the result would be a large enzyme that is called prothrombinase, and that's exactly the product that we're looking for. When prothrombinase forms, that's the end of the extrinsic pathway. And in general, the entire process that I explained takes just a few seconds.